Hello, everyone. My name's Dawson, and this is the Nerd Post. I'm here with my co-host Anthony, and we are going to break down the Dark Phoenix trailer that just dropped today. Well, it was today, right? I guess last night, late last night. So we're gonna break down all the tidbits and all the information for you guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything that you want to know, or any questions you have about this video, about the breakdown, go ahead and hit us up at our Twitter at Dawson108, Big Ant 601, or our official The NP Official. So let's jump right into it. It launched last night on the Tonight Show, right? Yeah. I guess I think
late show, Tonight Show.
So yeah, we got a bigger look at kind of this going forward. There was a lot of speculation from what I heard originally, like all the news and media and stuff like that. They were wondering if this was even going to come to fruition. I don't know if it was because of the merger with Fox and Disney and all that kind of stuff happening.
Pushed back already, you know?
Yeah, whether that was actually going to even be a thing going forward, but
it's here.
Yeah, it's here.
It's a thing.
I'm happy because I really after Apocalypse, whatever your opinion is about Apocalypse in the movie and stuff like that, and the Power Ranger villain, but I still, the scene that got me was Jean Grey walking out, walking and developing that power. Yes. Now, that being said, I do have issues as a comic book fan of it just being kind of a thing that she was kind of developing. It almost like it was just an extension or like heightened state of her abilities. That's kind of it almost seemed like that's how they were kind of playing it off. You have Xavier on the ground saying like let loose and stuff like that. Well, in the books it wasn't let loose. It wasn't like this is your ability just magnified. It was, this is a entity from space that has come and basically infected you, and now you have this power and ability, and it almost you could kind of almost like equate it to the symbiote of Venom, in my eyes. Your thoughts?
I think they probably are going somewhat for that idea, but we don't know. Like you say, we don't know exactly what has happened before her as a child. We're going to see some of that, but before like her birth, we're not going to know if she just get it or
how it actually comes about.
I had a friend that was concerned whether or not they were actually going to go to space to fight the actual, for this to actually start.
For any of you that don't know, and maybe I'm not sure if you even know, there was a series that just that started, I want to say 2 years ago. It was the Uncanny X-Men, and they kind of rebranded it, and it was when Cyclops had actually like kind of went evil, and he had developed his own team.
Red suit Cyclops.
Yes, and he had the X across his face and all that kind of stuff. So when that happened, they all had gotten infected with the Phoenix power. I want to say they were on the fucking moon, or I don't even remember. I haven't read the book in a while, but like they were somewhere and they got infected with the Phoenix power and became kind of almighty, and it was basically up to the rest of the other X-Men team to kind of combat them. So it was very apparent that that's kind of still the stance that Marvel has on this creature, character, what have you. And Jean Grey wasn't kind of in the mix at that point because they were kind of rebooting, but it was still a space entity. It was still something that was otherworldly that was coming in. It wasn't just like one of the X-Men's powers that was just heightened or something like that.
Now, in the movies, whether they addressed it or not, it remains to be seen. But I think, in further going into this trailer, that it was something that was in her, however she got it, but Professor X unlocked it.
True. Like we saw in Apocalypse, he's going in and he's talking to her and explaining like and kind of working with her on her powers and stuff like that. We see her already as a teenager or young adult, that is kind of already figuring out her powers and things of that nature. But again, that was in the last movie. Like you said, we're not going to maybe necessarily know everything until we get to this movie. I mean, they may kind of go in a completely different direction. Yeah. So start out this trailer. It looks like with the origin of Jean Grey, in the trailer at least, we're definitely going to get a look at young Jean Grey when she's a kid. Yes. Where she was when she was, because when we met Jean Grey in Apocalypse, she was just there. She was a new mutant that had just come to the school. We didn't know any background. We didn't know any backstory, anything like that. So we're definitely going to get some backstory of Jean Grey, of what, where she came from, how she came about getting to the school of Xavier, and going from there.
I found it interesting that young Jean Grey was very cognizant of knowing that she had.
She was really young, right? Yeah. Like I know, like in most of the mutants, they talk about it being like kind of more of a teenage. It's almost like an adolescence thing where you hit your puberty and bam, your hormones go out of control, like whatever. So but that's kind of where it happens for mutants too.
It happens when it manifests.
It manifests with in your adolescence. But this seems like she's definitely fully aware of her powers at a young age. We have that scene, basically her parents' death. Not jumping forward, but we'll get to that. We kind of see going forward that Professor X is trying to control what she has. At this point, he's already seen. We're definitely going to get different time periods. We're going to have flashbacks of her when she was a kid, developing her powers, understanding her powers, getting her powers.
Yeah, I'm sure the movie's not going to start out that way, but yeah.
Yeah, but we're definitely going to also jump forward all the way to post-apocalypse. They've seen the Phoenix actually come about. Professor X knows what her capabilities are. So at this point now, we have Professor X talking about, controlling those powers and understanding those powers. And really, it seems like understanding like the fact that like she's probably, I mean, in the books and in this movie, it seems like, she's more powerful than he is. She hasn't learned to control it as well as he has. So he's trying to kind of hone in those skills and stuff like that.
It's kind of using her.
In a way, yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, I can see how
she's the guinea pig and he's the professor.
I mean, ultimately they have the same powers. True. And they are
much
kind
more
of
powerful.
And yeah, she is way more powerful. And you're looking at him as a person that's trying to understand this when he's been so powerful. He's been the guy that can like look into every mind of every mutant and every human and blah blah blah. And he sees this young girl, like this young girl that comes in, and he's like, oh my god. And again, I don't know how much we're going to get the flow from Apocalypse, because in Apocalypse, it was very understood that it seemed like he was kind of embracing that aspect of her. He was like, go for it, at the end, obviously, because they were trying to defeat the enemy and everything. But
early on, he was trying to downplay it. But
he was trying to downplay it, and he was kind of concerned about it because, she was melting walls and scaring kids off and stuff like that. But having power over him, like he came into her room and was having issues with like even being able to be in there because of her dreams, like even being so powerful. So I mean, there's definitely some issues, but it seemed like by the end of the movie they kind of established that they were wanting it to be like he was like, go for it, do your thing. And yes, maybe that was just in the name of the good at the time, but definitely what it looks like from this trailer is he is looking to control those powers, lock in those powers, hone those powers. And honestly, it reminds me a lot of the First Class when when Xavier was with Eric, and he was honing his power, because it was obvious that Eric had so much potential, so much power,
which we found out in Apocalypse.
and it was such an awesome scene when he, like, you know, you have him like turning the satellite tower and stuff like that. Oh my god, that was such an awesome and amazing scene, and very powerful moment to understand the capabilities that Eric had. And it was something that he didn't even know. Like, you know, he knew he had this power. He knew he had these abilities. And it seems like that's almost kind of the same thing for me. That's kind of what I'm seeing in this new iteration of Xavier looks at Jean Grey and he's like, I know you have these powers. I know how powerful you are. You obviously have these abilities. I see myself in you. Let's hone these in and control them, because if not, it could be potentially dangerous.
Right.
We also see some scenes where, Eric Magneto is in the movie.
Right.
There's conversations between him and Jean Grey. There's obviously some turmoil between Jean Grey, the X-Men, Xavier, versus like maybe she's trying to, you know, find some answers, find some, you know, because if they're controlling her, my guess, I guess, is that they're trying to control her, so she's kind of pulling away, being like, I don't want to be controlled, and then going to a person like Eric for the exact same reason we were just talking about. Eric has been through this before. He knows what's going on because he's been through that exact same situation.
And what does he say?
What does he say?
You know, you're not coming to me for answers. You're coming to me for permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And exactly. And
same thing Mystique did, basically.
Yes, absolutely. Like, it does really feel like that. Yeah. And, you know, we have Mystique now is fully committed, it looks like, in this trailer to the X-Men. She's wearing the suit and in the 66, you know, X-Men suit and all that kind of stuff. Which is great. I love that. I love the throwback. Now, the problem I have... Little side note that I have is that I love the 66 looking outfits,
right?
But at the end of Apocalypse, they were in the like 95 outfits, and I grew up in the 95 outfits, and that's the X-Men that I grew up reading. So that like hit me hard whenever I saw that, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm so ready for the fucking 90s X-Men. Like, I'm so ready for this. And then they came out today and they were like, oh no, we're just kidding, we're gonna do the 66, you know, X-Men. So I mean, that was kind of like, I was like, I wish they would have like stuck with the 90s outfits. But I think even in that time, Mystique wasn't even with the she wasn't with the X-Men. So she was still she was a villain at that time. She was probably a villain in 66, but still that was kind of like an interesting choice, like continuity. But as we all know, the X-Men have the worst continuity of any movie. It's so bad. It's so bad. It looks like there's...
Right now, we're not even talking about the same timelines.
No, exactly. I mean, let's forget about the fact that like 20 years have passed since like the last movie and Apocalypse, and they just kind of glossed over like, oh, we look the same.
Yeah, right.
Even though it's been 20 years, like I just look the same. And I love that.
We'll roll with it. We'll roll.
What's her? What's the girl's name that Professor X is like all into?
Taggart.
Yes, Taggart. No, is it Taggart? Yeah, it's Taggart. She like makes a reference about having a child and a kid and stuff like that in the last movie. But just kind of glosses over that. It's kind of a way to be like, oh, there's been some time that's passed. Like, it's been a while and stuff like that. Interestingly enough, the kid that she has in the comics is actually like a pretty large villain to the X-Men and stuff like that. So we'll see if that maybe kind of plays out, maybe if that's going to be something going forward. So we have a rift between the X-Men in the trailer. The next kind of plot point that we're seeing is that Beast and Professor X are kind of having some rift. There's turmoil. There's some strife between
Professor
everybody.
X that it's his fault.
Yes,
it's his fault. We don't know exactly what his.
We
fault,
don't know what the fault is.
We can almost.
But he had the big guilt in the first one, just because he was feeling so bad about the issues that he had with Mystique, with trying to pressure her into, oh, you don't want to be a mutant. You don't want to be blue. You don't, I can fix you. And she was like, fuck you. I'm fine. I don't need to be fixed, guy. But I mean, eventually. Yeah. But, and so he eventually learned that. So this is kind of interesting, because I'm wondering if it's going to be the kind of the opposite reaction to that. Like, he's learned from his mistakes and now he's kind of moving forward, and that's what the rift is. And he's like, hey, don't try to fix people kind of stuff. Because, let her be who she is, and that's what the problem with him is, or maybe something different. But there's definitely a divide, right? Definitely a divide with the X-Men crew.
Mystique is scolding Charles as well,
Yes, yeah, she was kind of giving him what
did you do?
Giving him the business, man. She was not happy about, and she's kind of been like that. I mean, she's been pretty open-minded when it came to what her feelings were about the mutant community, and especially if it comes to controlling somebody. I mean, she was very open about that pretty much throughout the entire movie. Give it up to Jennifer Lawrence, because she's done such a good job with this character, and for a character that it could easily be just kind of thrown away as a kind of you don't really need to act it. It's just kind of like a whatever. She really actually is acting the fuck out of this character. She's doing such a good job, and and that she stuck with it, because she, when she first started with this character, she was not the Jennifer Lawrence we know now.
Right? No.
She's come quite a long. When was the first class? It was 2012, maybe.
I want to say the same thing. Yeah.
I want to say 2012 or something like that. Maybe around the same time as. It had to be similar time
2011.
as 2011.
Yeah.
It had to be similar time to the Hunger Games series and stuff like that.
Yeah,
when that was going on, and that is what she skyrocketed,
exactly,
which was great for her, and I loved that series. And so for her to be like, you know what, I'm gonna stick it with it. I don't care. I'm sure they're giving her all the money, and I'm sure she's getting all the money because of her status now. But I still feel like she's actually putting a lot into the role. She's doing a lot for the role and stuff, which is great. And it seems like in this trailer, just like you were saying, she really is kind of going for broke, and really still like trying, like, hey, look, fucking stop trying to fucking control people. Exactly. Stop trying to control how people are and what they are and who they are and all that kind of stuff. Seems to be, am I right? Is that kind of what your opinion kind of was about it?
Yeah, it seems like what the feel is. Yeah, she's really on top of him.
She's not really feeling the whole hey, we need to.
At any moment she could change, just like as she does in the comic books.
Absolutely.
Who did it better, Rebecca Romijn or Jennifer Lawrence?
Oh God, no! My favorite. Oh my God, my favorite fucking part in the fucking First Class movie was when Eric was like, "I prefer like somebody older," and she like flipped into fucking Rebecca Romijn, dude. Like that was the best. Oh my God, such a good scene. That's so fucking cool that they kind of threw that little like tidbit in there, because like, other than that, there's really no. I mean, it isn't a connected universe, and it is, even though we were just talking about it being kind of really chronologically and any kind of order is all kind of jacked up. But it's cool that they're still throwing some things in every once in a while. I mean, honestly, like, I fucking will go back and I'll watch Days of Future Past
me too, definitely.
all the time because I love fucking seeing the mesh of those characters. I love seeing the old school mixed with the new school. I love finally seeing fucking Wolverine with the younger cast and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, moving forward on this trailer, we have Storm a couple times in the trailer, and we see her kind of But the last time we left Storm, she'd kind of like realized the fault of her situation.
She left the dark side.
She'd left the dark side. She'd kind of left the apocalypse and realized, oh fuck, maybe I kind of fucked up here. Maybe this wasn't the best idea. And kind of honestly saved the fucking day.
Yeah.
At the end when she fucking blasted the hell out of him. Yeah. But at the end of the day, where do her allegiance lie? I mean, we never really got to that point. Yeah. It really kind of just ended at that. So in this trailer, we're looking at some scenes where it doesn't really make it clear, whose side she on. Is she, is she pulling for one person, one group or another? Right. Maybe she's kind of going with Eric. Maybe she's kind of going with Professor X. Maybe she's kind of pulling for Jean Grey. I mean, Jean Grey could be completely separate from both of them.
Right.
And just kind of on her own, and Storm's just kind of trying to keep the peace. I don't know. I think that I like that character, and I love what they're doing with her. I love the actress, and I wish I had looked up her name before we did this. But she's phenomenal. She's so great.
I hope they give us more of that backstory of what happened in between them building
Apocalypse and now
rebuilding Professor X's home at the end of the last one to now. I hope something happens, but if not, well, that's the X-Men world that we live in.
For sure. Yeah, there's always some kind of and I mean Eric was fucking there with Jean Grey rebuilding the house. So I mean, the last we know, everyone was super kumbaya, super chill, wanting to hang out, doing everything kind of fun.
What Scott says. He says Jean was okay. She was fine, and then
he was.
We need to help our friend.
And again, the last literal scene that I don't know. I can't remember if there was a post credit scene. There might have been a post credit scene, but the last scene of the movie was Jennifer Lawrence going and basically training the X-Men.
Right.
She was coming through and being like, look, you guys, everything you thought you knew, forget, because you don't know anything. And them being all in their uniforms and stuff. And it seemed like the birth of the actual X-Men that we know and love going forward. Exactly. So I'm really curious if this movie is going to actually include any of that information, whether it's going to tie in to this is kind of what's happened so far. I mean, X-Men loves the fucking every single X-Men movie loves the fucking swirling, I'm going through DNA, I'm going through the universe, opening sequence shit. And for once, I mean, I honestly think it wouldn't be bad every once in a while, just maybe fucking give us a, even if you don't want to show it, show some fucking crazy ass cool clips of and as you're doing it, you're fucking flashing between different things that have happened since that point to this point.
That would
and then them fucking battling and them doing shit and them being the X-Men. And then now get to them at a point where they've kind of solidified their self.
Take even a scene of them beating up on Deadpool.
Oh fuck, dude! Oh my god,
that'd be awesome.
That would be. I mean, we have the fucking crossover, so I mean, who knows what's fucking possible? That'd be fucking
saying
cool.
That action, bringing in action, let me. I noticed that there was no action from anybody else in the X-Men. We see them in their suits walking. We see Jean Grey tossing cars around. We see Jean Grey flaming up, but we don't see any of the X-Men
actual action points.
So that makes me very anxious for the next trailer.
There's no Cyclops fucking beam out his fucking.
We don't even see Beast Boy. I mean, not Beast Boy. Sorry,
the Beast.
The Beast. Yeah. We don't even see him teleport. We don't see Quicksilver running anywhere.
Nothing.
So I'm anxious for the next trailer.
Oh, there was Quicksilver. Yeah. I forgot. There was Quicksilver in he's walking up the stairs
and
with another student.
So him, he's trying to catch up with Eric, his father, and
true. That's the story I fucking want to know. I want to know if he ever fucking tells Magneto that he's his father,
Right.
because you have fucking goddamn it, Fox, before you got sold to Disney, you have the fucking gold mine, because we have Quicksilver in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we cannot literally say until apparently now. I guess you could say it now, but he's dead. So what are you going to do?
He could come back.
I mean, like, it's going to be kind of all fucked up when it comes to that kind of shit, because we have Quicksilver dead and we have Quicksilver alive. So we're going to have Quicksilver like come over and be like, oh no, I'm your like brother kind of from another mother kind of, you know, but
you're me.
But no, I mean, I always loved that. I loved that idea, and I loved that Magneto had like kids and stuff. And as soon as I saw him in the trailer, I mean, honestly, as soon as I saw him in the trailer, Quicksilver in the MCU going forward, I was like, oh my god, it's fucking Magneto's son and daughter. I was like so excited. But, you know, I knew that they couldn't do it in that side. So I was ready for them to do it in this side. And they kind of alluded to it a little bit at the first one. Like, oh, shit, my mom knew, like, a guy that could control metal. That's cool. And then in the second one, it was pretty obvious that he was like, oh, shit, this is my dad. This is my dad. But they never, like, officially, like, were like, oh, dad, hey, what's going on? So I was kind of hoping like they would get to the point where it fucking finally happened, where they would actually like understand between the, especially because Magneto was kind of helping out at the end, and and you know, I don't know, like I can't remember, did he like, was there a scene about him leaving, not sticking around? I can't remember.
No.
But either way, like in going into this movie, you know, maybe wrap up that thing in just a quick little scene where like you don't even have to be like the scene of, oh, hey, I'm your son. Like, you could just do like a quick scene short that just has established throughout this timeline or time period, the gap that we have, that they've acknowledged this, and he could be like, hey, dad, you know, and just a quick throwaway line. It would be so simple.
It's gonna take him. Quicksilver's gonna have to die in this universe, and and that's gonna turn Magneto totally mad.
Oh shit, dude, that would yeah, that might do it. That might do it. Fucking like a mistake by a mistake by Professor X. Oh shit, dude, he's lost so much, dude. The scene where his daughter dies and stuff like that still gets me fucking every time. I know it's like ridiculous. The fucking guy.
And there he is with that quote at
with
the
the
end.
arrow and shit.
You're always sorry, Charles. And there's always a speech, and nobody cares.
So we get closer to the end of the trailer, and one thing that I noticed, obviously, and a lot of other people have noticed before this, but I mean, this is the first official trailer. They did decide to go forward with it not being an X-Men branded movie. As far as it doesn't say X-Men in the title, it's called Dark Phoenix. The indication is that they have the X-Men-ish logo X at the end of the Phoenix name, which I think that's pretty cool. I mean it's already obvious because we know these characters by now. We understand this universe by now. So I mean, it's like, you know, it's like fucking taking a Iron Man movie, and you don't have to call it Iron Man to understand it's Iron Man if fucking Robert Downey Jr. is in the Iron Man suit. You know, you don't really have to know that. So I have no problem with that. I don't think that's a big deal. I think that's kind of a cool move, that it's kind of, you know, different a little bit, switching it up a little bit. Do you think at all that going forward with that kind of a move, are they looking to continue this series? I mean, are we looking for more X-Men movies after this, or is this the culmination of a trilogy that is kind of ending this run and these characters?
I want to say that it's a culmination of the ending, because in articles I have been reading and bringing the X-Men into the Marvel universe, and talks about it, that it's possibly just going to be a reboot. It's going to be, but
well, I mean, now we have
intermingled in with our characters in Marvel universe that we know now.
We have we have the X-Men now a part of Disney, and so it would be very easy and, you know, smart probably
Ideal.
for the MCU to incorporate X-Men, but in a completely different way. We don't want to keep all the same characters, maybe, so they're going to be looking. But I mean, the timelines don't match up. There's no way that we can have we can't have you know, current Professor X just jump forward 30 years or something like that and look the same. So there would have to be recasting done, and so we wanted to mix them into the MCU, which is fine. I mean, I love and
it deserves a reboot.
Even
though it's been rebooted already.
We're in such a stage now in this glory, fucking amazing point of our lives that we have all these amazing, like, comic book movies and Marvel, DC, like, you know, all these movies that are so phenomenal, and we're in a stage where it's we think that they just need to go on forever because Marvel figured the fucking formula out. They fucking figured it out. You know, whatever your opinion is and however you feel about it, Marvel fucking figured the fucking formula out early. They got it right. They fucking did it. But I think it's because of that we're like, oh, well, you know, you have to have at least 35 movies to fucking be successful. And that's not fucking right. I mean, you can have a successful trilogy, end it, be good, and be successful, and have that be an accomplishment, be fine. I'm fine with the Dark Phoenix being the end, because I've been waiting for a fucking Dark Phoenix since reading the fucking comic. I've been waiting for a Dark Phoenix fucking movie. And now that we have the technology and the amazing cast, the amazing people that have already laid the groundwork for what's going forward. Now, you know, are there going to be flaws, like I was kind of like mentioning before, that comic book wise I don't necessarily agree with, but as far as the movie goes, I mean, you know, like, you fucking change things. Things don't always stay the exact same as they are in the comics. So I mean, it is what it is, but. So I'm fine. I think that it's like, I think this is a good place to end it and cap it and be like, hey, you know, this is our run, this is our trilogy, we're good, everything's great, and then recast for MCU characters going forward and stuff. And
like, I think Hugh Jackman, I don't know if he's coming back or not.
Yeah, I mean, he had mentioned a few times that he was like, oh, if the X-Men were ever able to mix with the Avengers crew and stuff like that, I'd come back. But even still, I mean, at that point, you want somebody that you can, like, continue on. I was actually thinking today, I was thinking about this. His son, Dakin. Dakin. I think, I can't.
That's right. One of those.
I didn't read that series of books that much and stuff like that. I read a lot of Wolverine books, but not that series. But I know that's his son. Obviously, I mean, it'd be fucking awesome if they just left that as canon and brought fucking the girl, Laura, but the girl that played her, the actress, if they brought her growing up in the MCU and had her be the fucking Wolverine going forward, I'd fucking be way down for that, dude. She was such an amazing actress, and I thought she did such a great job. And that would be a cool twist. Or if you brought Dakin and brought him in as, like, the son that Wolverine maybe didn't know about during his life, and that way you could be like, oh, we're recasting, but it's not technically recasting Wolverine. We're just bringing in this character that is quote unquote Wolverine. Because I mean, there's plenty of times that he was in the comics that he was basically in the exact Wolverine costume and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, there's ways to do it that might be pretty cool without, like, being like, oh, we're betraying, you know, Hugh Jackman and stuff like that and his character. But I mean, you definitely have to go with someone young. You definitely have to, at this point in these kind of movies, you have to sign somebody to a 7 movie project. So I mean that's going to be
them off early or not.
I mean, you're getting signed to a 7 or 7 movie project. You're getting signed to something that's going to be an ongoing thing. Even in the Joker, it was I guess told that Joaquin Phoenix was offered the Joker in like, I don't know if it was in a different movie or in like in the just DC universe, and he was like, no.
Oh yeah, I just saw it today.
Yeah, he was like, no, because they wanted to sign him to a 7-year contract or a 7-movie deal, and he was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And it was only because he was interested in that one singular separate movie that was kind of unique and stuff like that, that he was like, okay, I'll do that, which makes more sense for a guy like that. I mean, I think he needs to do a more artsy type of Joker movie. But yeah, so I mean, final thoughts on the trailer?
One thing I want to say was we have the battle that we always have had, which is Magneto versus Charles or Professor Xavier.
So you think there's going to be like an ultimate fight between them? Like, is this going to be the time that it's like, well, I mean, if it is canon, I guess they kind of reversed everything with Days of Future Past. That was the glory of that, is that it kind of scrubbed everything from existence going forward, so they can do whatever they want and consider it canon. But do you think we get the ultimate fight between those two characters and stuff in this movie?
The ultimate, you go your way, I go my way. For good this time.
So maybe not killing each other, but I'm gonna, like, this is the time when they finally separate and say, like
Wolverine told him,
I'm for the humans, I'm for the mutants. I like, you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing.
Well, Logan tells him, I spent a lot of years trying to catch you or trying to defeat you. He says, so I win. And he's like, you're a survivor like me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so Stan Lee has been on record to saying that when he made Magneto and Professor X, he modeled them after Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
I did hear that.
You always hear Professor X talking about hope. And there's hope and there's hope. And
the two different types of,
no, we need to war, we need to fight, and by any means
on
necessary.
The same, like, they were going for the same thing, right? Two different paths to get to that same point. So one more destruction, one more peaceful. I did hear that. Like, that was always the kind of
Thanos achieved what Magneto always wanted to do.
But no, I mean, that's you're absolutely right. That was I remember that being like a big thing. I remember Stan Lee saying that it was like kind of a big thing that he was talking about.
Professor X saying something about hope in this trailer as well, and that made me think about it. I was like, and those guys are still warring.
Yep, for sure. And thoughts. We have Magneto kind of closing out the trailer, talking about where things are going. Do we see a death in this movie? I know we kind of just talked about it, saying them going their separate ways. Do you think there's any chance that we see like Magneto dying and it being completely separate from canon? Do you see like an ultimate conflict? Like, who is our, ultimately what I'm asking is, who is our bad guy in this movie? Is the Phoenix the bad guy? Is Magneto the bad guy? Like, or do we have this is the first trailer, so maybe there's a second trailer coming out.
I'm anxious to see more because we haven't seen them fight.
There might be another bad guy that we or villain that we haven't actually seen manifested yet.
And maybe the thing that triggers Jean, and they're trying to calm her down because they can't calm her down because she's too far gone. Maybe.
Honestly, we're kind of talking. In a way, you're kind of talking about Apocalypse. The same thing that happened for Storm. Right. That being said, are we going to see what's her name? Psylocke. Are we gonna see Psylocke? Because last we saw her, she kind of like snuck off in the last movie and stuff. So, are we gonna see her maybe again pop up as like another side character? Or is that character kind of done? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard nothing, but I think it was an easy way to like exit stage left. I'm just out the back door. You don't have to see me again because
like that was her kind of like peace out. I'm done.
Maybe
Got it.
Without them killing her off,
Fair enough.
She very well could have died, like falling from that very height.
She's just kind of out there in the unknown doing her own mutant stuff.
Yeah. Getting tracked down by somebody.
All right, well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this trailer breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're super excited, and we'll definitely be continuing and looking out for more content coming from this new Dark Phoenix movie.
Second trailer,
man. I know. Give me some more content. I'm excited. I want to see where this is going, and we'll definitely follow up with some more stuff in our next podcast and everything. So, if you guys, again, as always, if you have any questions, comments, things for content that you want to see, things for anything that you want us to talk about, or just general questions for us, please hit us up on our Twitter at Dawson108, Big Ant 601. And our official, the NP official Twitter handle. So, Anthony, closing remarks, anything you want to say?
Anything you guys need, we're here for you. We're going to be giving you it all. Any comments, any ideas, any...
Please let us know.
Yeah, let us know anything.
I mean, we're excited about this, and we're 100% on board. We want to,
and again, we do want the feedback.
We want the feedback. We want to make sure we're getting the content that you guys are interested in. So, appreciate it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the Dark Phoenix trailer. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Have a good day and good night, depending on when you're watching it.
Bye, guys.